You can feel them before they speak. There's something different about spiritually awakened people that Jung spent decades trying to understand. Not their words or actions, but an indefinable quality that changes the atmosphere around them. Jung called it the presence of the individuated person, a psychological radiance that affects everyone nearby without anyone quite understanding why. Today, I am revealing the 5 qualities Jung identified that create this rare aura, qualities so subtle yet powerful that once you understand them, you'll recognize awakened souls instantly and understand why their mere presence transforms every space they enter. More importantly, you'll understand how these qualities develop and why they're impossible to fake. Here's what Jung discovered that explains everything. Spiritually awakened people don't try to have presence. They simply stopped preventing it. Through the process of individuation, they've removed the psychological barriers that block authentic radiance. Jung called this the transparency of the integrated psyche. When all internal conflicts resolve, what remains is pure presence that others can't help but feel. The first quality is the most immediately noticeable. The unified field, when internal harmony creates external peace. Jung discovered that awakened individuals emit what he called psychological coherence. Their thoughts, feelings, and actions align so completely that they create a unified energy field around them. You feel this as an almost physical sensation of peace in their presence, not because they're trying to be peaceful, but because they've resolved the internal conflicts that create disturbance. Here's what creates this unified field. Most people are psychologically fragmented. Their conscious mind wants one thing, while their unconscious wants another. They think one way but feel differently. They say yes while their body says no. This fragmentation creates what Jung called psychological static, an energetic disturbance that others unconsciously detect as tension, inauthenticity, or unease. Jung wrote, "The individuated person has achieved what I call psychological unity. The conscious and unconscious, thinking and feeling, masculine and feminine principles are no longer at war, but in harmony. This harmony is not just internal. It radiates outward, creating a field of coherence that others experience as profound peace." The unified field manifests in specific ways Jung documented. When you're near an awakened person, your own nervous system begins to calm without any conscious effort. Your breathing naturally deepens and slows. Your mental chatter decreases. Anxieties that seemed urgent moments before suddenly feel less important. It's as if their internal harmony creates a template that your psyche unconsciously follows. This isn't charisma or personality. It's what Jung called presence without performance. The awakened person isn't doing anything to create this effect. They're simply being, and their being is so internally aligned that it naturally harmonizes the space around them. They don't need to speak wisdom. Their presence is wisdom. They don't need to teach peace. They embody it. Jung observed that this unified field operates through what he called unconscious to unconscious communication. Below the level of conscious awareness, your psyche recognizes their psychological integration and responds with relief. It's like meeting someone who speaks your native language after being surrounded by foreign tongues. There's an immediate recognition and relaxation. What makes this quality so rare is that it can't be manufactured. You can't pretend to have internal unity. The unconscious always reveals fragmentation. You can act peaceful while harboring inner turmoil, but others will sense the discrepancy. The unified field only emerges from genuine integration, from actually doing the psychological work of unifying opposites within yourself. Jung noted that people often can't explain why they feel so peaceful around awakened individuals. They might attribute it to the person's words or demeanor, but Jung discovered it's actually the absence of psychological conflict that creates the effect. The awakened person isn't adding peace to the environment. They're not contributing to the usual unconscious warfare that fills most spaces. This unified field also affects how reality responds to the awakened person. Jung documented increased synchronicities around individuated people, as if their internal coherence creates external coherence. Animals approach them with unusual trust. Children naturally gravitate toward them. Even challenging situations seem to resolve more smoothly in their presence. It's not magic, it's what Jung called the organizing principle of psychological wholeness, extending beyond the individual into their environment. But this unified field is just the foundation of their presence. The transparent shadow, when darkness becomes light. Jung's second discovery about awakened people's aura is paradoxical. They radiate light not by eliminating darkness, but by making it conscious. He called this shadow transparency. The awakened person has integrated their shadow so completely that it becomes a source of authenticity rather than something to hide. Here's what makes this so powerful. Most people spend enormous energy hiding their shadows, their anger, selfishness, weakness, desire. This hiding creates what Jung called psychological armor that others experience as distance, falseness, or threat. But awakened individuals have nothing to hide because they've already faced and integrated everything. Their transparency makes others feel safe to be themselves. Jung wrote, "The individuated person no longer projects shadow because they've withdrawn all projections. They own their darkness as consciously as their light. This ownership creates a quality of authenticity that others experience as permission to be wholly themselves." The transparent shadow manifests in remarkable ways, Jung observed. Awakened people can acknowledge their flaws without shame or defense. They can discuss their struggles without seeking sympathy. They can admit mistakes without loss of dignity. This radical self-acceptance creates an atmosphere where others feel accepted too. You don't need to perform or pretend because they aren't performing or pretending. What's extraordinary is how this shadow transparency affects others' shadows. In the presence of someone who has integrated their darkness, your own shadows feel less threatening. The anger you've been suppressing seems more manageable. The weakness you've been hiding feels more acceptable. The desires you've been ashamed of appear more human. It's as if their shadow integration gives your shadow permission to exist. Jung discovered that this quality creates what he called psychological safety. When someone has clearly faced their own darkness, others instinctively know this person won't judge their darkness. The awakened individual has been to the depths and returned, so others feel safe revealing their own depths. This creates unusually honest, authentic interactions that feel refreshing compared to normal social performance. The transparent shadow also means awakened people can hold space for others' difficult emotions without being disturbed. They've felt rage, so your anger doesn't frighten them. They've experienced despair, so your sadness doesn't overwhelm them. They've known fear, so your anxiety doesn't trigger their own. Their emotional range is so complete that nothing human is foreign to them. Jung noted that this quality often makes awakened people seem paradoxically both lighter and deeper than others. Lighter because they're not carrying hidden shadow material that creates psychological weight. Deeper because they've integrated dimensions of experience most people avoid. They can laugh genuinely because they've also cried completely. They can celebrate because they've also mourned. Every emotion is available because every emotion has been acknowledged. This transparency extends to what Jung called the collective shadow, the darkness of humanity itself. Awakened individuals have faced not just personal shadow, but universal human capacity for both creation and destruction. This makes them remarkably non-judgmental. They understand how ordinary people become capable of extraordinary darkness and extraordinary light, because they've found both capacities within themselves. Yet even this shadow transparency is enhanced by another quality: the timeless presence, living in eternal now. Jung discovered that awakened individuals exist in what he called a different relationship with time. They're fully present in the moment while simultaneously connected to something eternal. This creates what Jung termed timeless presence, a quality of being that makes every interaction feel both immediate and infinite. Here's what creates this temporal shift. Most people are psychologically scattered across time, regretting the past, worrying about the future, rarely fully present. This temporal fragmentation creates anxiety and rush that others feel as pressure or distraction. But awakened individuals have integrated their relationship with time. They're neither running from the past nor toward the future. They inhabit what Jung called the eternal now. Jung wrote, "The individuated person lives in what I call psychological time rather than chronological time. They experience each moment as complete in itself while also part of an eternal pattern. This creates a presence that is both fully here and somehow beyond time." The timeless presence manifests in specific ways Jung documented. When you're with an awakened person, time seems to slow down or become irrelevant. Conversations feel unhurried, even if only minutes pass. Moments expand to contain unexpected depth. You stop checking the clock, stop feeling rushed, stop worrying about what's next. Their relationship with time creates a temporal sanctuary where you can actually be present. This quality emerges from what Jung called the integration of the eternal self. Through individuation, the person has contacted the aspect of psyche that exists outside time, the self that was present before birth and continues after death. This contact with the eternal doesn't remove them from time, but gives them a different perspective on it. They live in time while aware of the timeless. Jung observed that this creates an unusual combination of patience and urgency. Awakened individuals have infinite patience because they are connected to the eternal. Nothing ultimately rushes them. Yet they also have intense presence because they know each moment is unique and will never repeat. They're simultaneously relaxed about cosmic time and intensely engaged with present time. The timeless presence affects how awakened people age. Jung noted they often seem both older and younger than their chronological age. Older because they carry wisdom that seems ancient. Younger because they maintain a freshness of perception that most people lose. They've integrated what Jung called the pure and senex, the eternal youth and wise elder, creating an ageless quality that transcends physical appearance. This temporal quality also influences how others experience their own relationship with time around awakened people. Your usual time anxiety diminishes. The constant mental timekeeping quiets. Past regrets and future worries become less compelling than present awareness. It's as if their timeless presence reminds your psyche that beneath the rush of chronological time lies an eternal dimension always available. Jung discovered that this quality makes awakened individuals natural holders of sacred space. Rituals, ceremonies, or healing work conducted in their presence takes on a timeless quality. They create what Jung called temenos, sacred containers where ordinary time is suspended and transformation can occur, not through any special technique, but simply through their different relationship with time itself. But there's an even more remarkable quality that Jung identified. If you're recognizing these qualities, the unified field, transparent shadow, timeless presence, you're beginning to understand why awakened people feel so different, not better or special, but operating from a fundamentally different psychological organization. Before we explore the final two qualities that complete this rare aura, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Share in the comments which quality you've noticed most in those you consider awakened. Your observations might help others recognize these qualities too. Now, these last two qualities reveal why Jung believed awakened people serve an evolutionary function. The conscious love, beyond attachment and detachment. Jung discovered that awakened individuals embody what he called conscious love, a quality of connection that transcends both needy attachment and cold detachment. They love without possessing, care without controlling, connect without merging. This creates an aura of unconditional acceptance that transforms everyone they encounter. Here's what makes conscious love so distinctive. Most people oscillate between attachment and detachment. They either merge with others, losing themselves in relationship, or wall themselves off, protecting against vulnerability. Both states create what Jung called relational disturbance, an energy others experience as either invasive neediness or rejecting coldness. Jung wrote, "The individuated person has achieved what I call conscious relationship. They can be fully present with another without losing themselves or needing to possess the other. This creates a quality of love that is both personal and transpersonal, intimate yet free. Conscious love manifests in remarkable ways," Jung observed. Awakened individuals can maintain deep intimacy without codependence. They can care profoundly without trying to fix or save. They can love someone exactly as they are while seeing their potential for growth. This creates relationships of extraordinary depth and freedom simultaneously. What's powerful about conscious love is how it affects others' capacity for love. In the presence of someone who loves consciously, your own heart naturally opens. The defenses you maintain against intimacy relax. The games you play in relationships seem unnecessary. You feel simultaneously held and free, seen and accepted, challenged and supported. Jung discovered that conscious love operates through what he called differentiated feeling. The awakened person doesn't love everyone the same way, but loves each person uniquely according to their specific being. They see through the personality to the self in others, recognizing and addressing the divine core while fully acknowledging human limitations. This quality creates what Jung called therapeutic presence. Simply being around someone who loves consciously has a healing effect, not because they're trying to heal, but because conscious love naturally dissolves the psychological wounds created by unconscious relationship. Their presence reminds your psyche what real love feels like, often for the first time. Conscious love also means the awakened person can hold multiple levels of relationship simultaneously. They can be teacher and friend, guide and equal, supporter and challenger. They don't need to choose one role, but can flow between them as needed. This flexibility creates relationships of unusual richness and dimensionality. Jung noted that conscious love extends beyond human relationships to include all existence. Awakened individuals often demonstrate what he called cosmic love, a sense of connection with all life that isn't sentimental, but grounded in genuine recognition of unity. They love the world not as an idea, but as lived experience of interconnection. This love isn't soft or permissive. Jung observed that conscious love includes what he called the sword of discrimination, the ability to see clearly, speak truth, set boundaries. Awakened people can say no with as much love as they say yes. They can confront as compassionately as they comfort. Their love includes the full spectrum of human interaction. Yet, there's one final quality that completes the aura of awakened beings: the creative emptiness, the space where newness emerges. Jung's final observation about awakened people's aura is perhaps the most subtle. They carry what he called creative emptiness, a psychological spaciousness that allows genuinely new things to emerge. They're not full of themselves, but full of potential. This emptiness isn't absence, but presence of infinite possibility. Here's what Jung discovered. Most people are psychologically crowded, full of opinions, beliefs, judgments, stories. This fullness creates what Jung called psychological density, that others experience as heaviness or limitation. But awakened individuals have emptied themselves of fixed positions. They hold views lightly, allowing space for new understanding to emerge. Jung wrote, "The individuated person has achieved what I call fertile void, an inner spaciousness where creative emergence can occur. They are not empty of content, but empty of attachment to content. This creates a quality of openness that invites new possibilities." Creative emptiness manifests in transformative ways, Jung documented. Conversations with awakened people often take unexpected turns. New insights emerge that neither party anticipated. Solutions to problems appear that weren't previously visible. It's as if their psychological spaciousness creates room for creativity to flourish. This emptiness operates as what Jung called the womb of possibility. Just as physical birth requires empty space in the womb, psychological birth requires empty space in the psyche. Awakened individuals maintain this space not through effort, but through having released attachment to psychological positions. They have opinions but aren't identified with them. They have knowledge but aren't attached to it. Jung observed that this quality makes awakened people natural catalysts for others' growth. Their emptiness creates space for others to discover themselves. Instead of filling conversations with their own content, they create openings where others' authentic expression can emerge. They ask questions that create space rather than provide answers that fill space. The creative emptiness also means awakened individuals can hold paradox without resolution. They don't need to choose sides or resolve contradictions. They can hold multiple perspectives simultaneously without confusion. This creates what Jung called psychological roominess, space where apparent opposites can coexist and eventually synthesize into new understanding. This quality affects how reality itself responds to awakened people. Jung noted that new possibilities seem to emerge around them spontaneously. Stuck situations become fluid, fixed patterns suddenly shift. It's as if their creative emptiness invites life to express new forms through and around them. What's remarkable is how this emptiness coexists with fullness. Jung called it empty fullness or full emptiness. The awakened person is completely present, yet not filled with themselves. They're substantially there, yet somehow transparent. They have strong presence, yet create space for others' presence. This paradox is key to their transformative effect. Here's Jung's complete picture of the awakened person's rare aura: unified field creating peace, transparent shadow enabling authenticity, timeless presence transcending temporal anxiety, conscious love beyond attachment, and creative emptiness inviting possibility. Together, these qualities create what Jung called the presence of wholeness, an unmistakable atmosphere that transforms every space they enter. Jung wrote, "The individuated person doesn't have presence, they are presence." Their psychological integration creates a field effect that influences everyone nearby, not through intention, but through being. These qualities can't be developed separately or practiced as techniques. They emerge naturally from the process of individuation, the psychological journey toward wholeness. As you integrate your shadow, unify your opposites, contact the self, and complete the journey Jung mapped, these qualities spontaneously manifest. What Jung understood is that these qualities serve an evolutionary function. Each awakened individual becomes what he called a seed of new consciousness in collective humanity. Their presence doesn't just affect individuals, but contributes to the evolution of human consciousness itself. They demonstrate what's possible when psychological integration is achieved. Jung believed we're in a time when more people are achieving this integration, creating what he called islands of consciousness in the ocean of collective unconsciousness. These islands will eventually connect, creating new continents of awareness. Each awakened person's aura contributes to this larger transformation. The rarity of this aura isn't because awakening is reserved for special people. It's rare because few complete the difficult journey of individuation. Most stop at comfort rather than pushing through to wholeness. But those who complete the journey demonstrate that this aura is humanity's birthright, the natural presence of psychologically integrated beings. If you recognize these qualities in others or sense them emerging in yourself, you're witnessing what Jung called the future of humanity, not as concept, but as lived presence. The rare aura of awakened people isn't supernatural, it's naturally super, the organic result of psychological wholeness. Remember Jung's words, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." That becoming creates an aura that needs no announcement. Presence itself declares the achievement. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to explore more of Jung's revolutionary insights. To dive even deeper into Jung's revolutionary psychology and what it means for your spiritual awakening, click the recommended video on your screen now.